And there we go. Good morning, guys. Good morning, Brett. I'm not late. I'm actually 3 minutes early, but I appreciate it very much. You keeping track of time for me. Thank you. The internet may lag a little bit today. I don't know exactly what's going to happen. I'm not sure. But I do have some important news I would like to pass along to you. So while we're waiting on everybody to trickle in, good morning, Elite. Good morning, especially good morning to you, Brett. I just want to tell you again how much I appreciate you, man, and the things that you do stuck in Florida. That goes for you too, Elite class. Good to see you, Steve Butcher. My main man is up at 3 a.m. to hear this live stream today. Tommy, let me get your wrench right now, guys. I'm just gonna get settled in and get my moderators up and going, and then we'll get into the topic at hand. And what's up, Steve-O? Steve-O in the house. Good morning. Good morning, brother. Good to hear from you, man. Moderators, I will need you to stay on top of everything today because, hey, good morning. Glad you're in here. There has been, or there's going to be some stuff that is definitely going to be need to be moderated. So make sure I don't harm myself here. Good evening, Frank, and short night tonight. I hear you, brother. Do your thing, get well, man. Good morning, Black Bolt. This may be a live stream, guys. I want to tell you real quickly right off the top. I may not be able to say hey to everyone because I'm going to do a lot of talking and provide you guys with a lot of information that you probably either haven't heard or have heard in one way, but I'm going to deliver it to you in another. Hey, Robert, good to see you. Also, Mitchell, hello from Phoenix. Hello from Bangkok, sir. It's good. It's good to be with all of you this morning. Now, let me say this first. Well, let me throw in one thing. If you guys enjoy the content here, please hit the like button. I always appreciate that. James from Charleston, what's going on? Good to see you. It's coming, Henry. It's coming. Hey, Mario and B. And with that, I just remember I may not be able to stop and say hello to everyone like I always do. First, I want to say what I'm about to say has nothing other than I want to let you guys know that if you're planning to come to Thailand, all the non-religious activities have been stopped. So there essentially is none of the activities. Hey, Kangaroo, good to see you, bud. There is no activities for Songkran other than the religious ones. So that'll be the only things that'll be on there. Now, that being said, there is this is not a live stream where I'm going to talk about it, right? I'm not going to talk about that. What I am going to talk about is what it is really truly like to be an expat in a foreign country or in various foreign countries, which is why I wanted to say first and foremost, I am not speaking directly. I may use examples from the countries, but there is no negativity here or no fake news, so to speak, for any country, whether it be Thailand, the Philippines, Vietnam, Singapore, Malaysia, whatever I talk about, there is no, it's not intended to be negative. This is for the expat. This is for the tourists that are coming that don't know these things. And so what I'm going to do is I'm essentially, this is why I named the video, Don't Travel Abroad Until You Listen to This, because I'm essentially going to take a deep dive into that old saying that we know. Hey, Richard, let me throw your wrench there, bro. I'm essentially going to take a deep dive with you guys and go with your answers as well into, hey, Robert Mack, good to see you. I'm going to take a deep dive into that old saying, don't forget you're a guest in someone's country. And I'm also going to talk about the old saying, well, if you don't like it, you can leave. Because while that is a true statement, there are some of us who have built lives here, who have built lives in Southeast Asia and abroad in other countries, not just Southeast Asia, but anywhere in the world. And in those cases, you can't just pick up your life and move on. You know, you can't just say, I'm done with this place, time to go. Got more stuff to, I don't like it, I can leave. Well, yeah, you can, but you're going to have, it's going to take you some time, right, before you do that. So let's get into the meat, as we used to say in the South, the meat and potatoes of this stuff. Cody, what's up? Good to see you, bud. Number one, I actually have paperwork, so I don't forget anything, guys, because I want this to be taken seriously. Number one, forget Western freedoms. If you come from a Western country, that's what Brett said. I said it to my wives. I've had enough. I like that. Forget Western freedom. That's the first thing. Hey, Roger. Good to see you, bud. Let me throw you a wrench, too. You definitely deserve one. Oops. Who'd I hit? Don't worry. I'm going to come back to the topic, guys. I'm not going to miss the topic in this video. No way. You guys just keep a good eye out on the comments for me. The moderators, please. Thank you. And as always, somebody will throw I'm sure one of you guys will start a money challenge at some point and throw up the PayPal link and all that stuff. And if you do, that's great. I'll love you for it. But first, I really want to go into this. So forget Western freedoms. What do I mean by that? Well, many of the Southeast Asian countries that you would want to visit have constitutions or have some type of constitution. And in those constitutions, for the most part, they're going to say stuff like freedom of speech is guaranteed to all people, right? So something to that. But is it really, is my question. And the answer to that question is no, it's not. You cannot say certain things in certain countries. You just can't. I remember a time over in the Philippines when it was someone said something about a foreigner said something about a Filipino citizen, and that foreigner got in a lot of trouble over something that was extraordinarily mild. Hey, Anon, good to see you, man. Thanks for dropping by. Ray, what's up? And Bisker, what's going on? So, speech, not really freedom of speech. You need to kind of learn that before you, whatever country, destination, whether it be, what's up, Thai guy, whether it be Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia, Singapore, South Korea, I don't know if that qualifies as Southeast Asia, Taiwan, the Philippines. The Philippines definitely qualify as Southeast Asia. So all these things, you kind of need to learn a little bit about them before you jump into them, okay? The second one is your attitude, okay? In a Western society, we pretty much have freedom as citizens in our Western society to, what's up, Travel TV? But we usually have freedom to, throw our attitude around a little bit here and there. And be whoever. Hey, David from Canada, thanks for stopping in. Hang on one second. Let me read Richard's comment. I don't think Jay would mind if I mention this. Working on a YouTube Richard holiday video based on my last trip to Pat should be completed in 2 days. Should be epic. The Richard Returns Part 1. I like that. That's pretty good. Hey, Charles. Okay. So your attitude. In the West, we can throw our attitude around a little bit. We can get an attitude with somebody and it doesn't really matter. As long as you don't throw, as long as it doesn't come to throwing blows, or fighting or that kind of thing. Yeah, kangaroo's got a good point there. And that's pretty much the entirety of what I'm going to do. But I'm going to be getting into, yeah. See, you don't talk about those things. Ty Guy Bry's talking about talking politics about the country that you're in. Don't ever do that. That's the worst. That is one of the worst things you could possibly do. Worst things you could possibly do. So you can't get an attitude in these countries either. Like even if it's foreigner on foreigner, you can probably get away with it for as long as it's not too bad, right? No mention of that at all. No mention of it. Guys, thank you for whoever deleted that. We are not mentioning that at all in any way, form, or fashion. So, if you get an attitude with the citizen of the country that you're in, you can forget it. Like you have no hope at all. Man, Brett, there you go, bro. I love you, man. I swear to God, I love you, man. Brett's just said PayPal challenge, let's go, and he's kicked it off with $50. I love you, man. I really do. I mean that. I swear I do. That's awesome, dude. That is awesome. Thank you. And not to cut you short, and not to say that I don't appreciate it in any way, form, or fashion. But I'm going to keep right on moving with this. Thank you, Brett. I really appreciate that, bro. So if you get an attitude with a foreign citizen, you're done. You're done. You're not going to win that argument ever. And you're probably going to get some kind of really stiff penalty that is completely unfair, but that's what happens. That's what happens. That's what happens. And by the way, guys, I am a lot closer to getting the camera than you think I would be, because we were about $1,500 away when all this stuff started, and I'm looking at about $675 or $700 total, and then it's going to be camera time. Then it's going to be boom. We're going to be back to the races with some quality footage, and I can't wait for that. Now, so don't ever get an attitude. Right says I got a bold statement to make. I hear you, bro. Don't ever get an attitude with a citizen in the country. Don't get an attitude, especially if you work in another country. Don't get an attitude in the workplace ever, for any reason. For any reason. Brett says coming out of the club. Not that kind of love, man. But don't get an attitude there, because in many countries that certain countries are so they want you to be so peaceful in Southeast Asia that if you get an attitude, period, right, where it would be normal in the West, it's not normal here, because they live. And when I say here, I'm not just talking about Thailand. I'm Southeast Asia in general. DoMoreLife says, when you cross the border, you got to remember your place in society. It's at the bottom. Couldn't have said it better. Richard says, a long time ago, I had words with a Thai worker at one of my go-to bars. Long story short, we didn't talk for 3 years. I was 100% wrong and apologized, but it still took 3 years. And see, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about, right? Drive TV said, but they started it. Yeah. And that's the other thing. Even if whatever country you happen to be in, if you get a national from that country starting to have beef with you, it doesn't matter. Okay, it doesn't matter. You are the guest. You are the guy that and usually you won't, Thai guy, bro. You usually won't. You might make some kind of joke, especially if you're hanging around women, right? You might make a joke harmless, totally harmless, trying to be funny, and they don't get it because they don't speak your language fully, and they certainly don't understand idioms and things of that nature, puns. So they're not gonna understand what exactly you're saying, and it's going to get you in trouble. The next thing I wanted to talk about is freedom of movement. Um, Once you're over here, your freedom of movement is pretty much limited to how much they want to let you move. Now, again, this is not specific to Thailand. This has nothing to do with what's going on in the world right now. I'm talking about when I say freedom of movement. If you rent a bike, yeah, you can move around freely, but when are you going to get that ticket that you didn't deserve? You know what I mean? Like when are you going to get that? I had a guy recently that said he was in one of the Southeast Asian countries over here, and he handed the officer. Officer pulled him over, didn't say anything to him, just said, again, this is not Thailand related. This is in Southeast Asia. The officer pulled him over, asked for his license. He gave him his license. Then he wanted his passport, visa is what he wanted. Excuse me, his visa that was in his passport. So he gave him that, and he said 400 baht, or not 400 baht. I'm sorry, I'm used to talking in. I'm used to talking about baht in Thailand. It was 4,000 or 400 or what of whatever country he was in. I can't even remember the country now, and he couldn't get his tour or his visa back until he gave him the 400 or 4,000, whatever it was, denomination of the country that he was in. And he gave the officer that money, gave the visa back. I mean, these are things that happen. These things really happen, right? And you have to be aware of this so that if it happens to you while you are traveling, you don't break down and have some kind of rebellious attitude. Because if you have a rebellious attitude, it's over. It's over. As long as you can keep yourself balanced mentally and maintain a mature way of thinking, and try your best not to have an emotional reaction, rather have a pragmatic, logical response, you will likely succeed in most of these countries. Hey, Roy, good to see you. Travel TV says if you get a ticket in Thailand, tell me to pay it up at the police station and where you know you're paying the right price. Yeah, that's true. I've got tickets here in Thailand before. That's right, Charles. Just keep smiling and pay up. Yeah, Kangaroo agrees. Don't ever give him attitude. Don't do it. The other thing is, if you're going to stay in a place for a long time, just keep smiling. If you're going to stay in a country in Southeast Asia for a long time, you can expect, I guarantee you can expect to do a lot of paperwork on your visa or on your extensions of stay. There's stories all about that, man. I mean, it happens everywhere. It happens everywhere in Southeast Asia. And these are some of the consequences that we face as being tourists out of our country, right? This is why we have to let that Western mentality that we were ingrained with, we have to let it go. And it's so hard to do. I mean, it's so hard to do. It really is. But you're going to have, depending on what country you're in, you're going to have paperwork for everything. There's a lot of paperwork that needs to be done if you want to be married in a Southeast Asian country, if you want to be here on somewhere on a work visa. Some countries require visas and a permit. Some just require the visa. Yeah, I've actually had something like that happen too. But you, what you say? Cody says, I'll check you guys out. I have company interested. See you, gents. Okay. While I agree with your comment, most of your comment there, David, we don't talk like that in this chat room, brother. Sorry about that. Good job, Tommy. Thank you for catching that. Go More Hike says another tip: don't ever carry a large amount of cash. Pay the ATM fees. Leave your money in the bank. There will be a time you are stopped and have to pay a fine, which will equal your entire wallet. And he is absolutely, in my experience, he's absolutely correct with saying that, because I've seen that happen several times. So you need to be prepared for paperwork, and you need to be prepared for the fact that you might need a lawyer for some of that paperwork, depending on what kind of visa. You may be in a country that a marriage visa is very simple. You may be in a country that a marriage visa is very complicated. You may be asked to do things that are not going to logically make sense to you, right? Because of the Western mentality that we have. But I guarantee you they make sense to the people of the country that you're in. What seems logical to us as Westerners does not always seem logical at the country that we're in. But that's where we don't have a say-so. It doesn't matter what we think. We are literally the guests, so we must abide by the rules. Now, the main thing I want you to remember about point number one, and this is only point number one, I think I have 5 to go through. The main thing I want you to remember about, actually I have 7. So the main thing I want you to remember about point number one, and for getting your Western freedoms, is you are truly a guest in any of these countries with few privileges. Okay? Tourist, doesn't matter. If you're going to be some type of non-immigrant or permanent resident or something like that, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay? Your privileges, any Western privilege that you may think you have, is gone when you step on the airplane to start coming this way. Excuse me, my mouth's a little dry. Now, number 2, nothing is as it seems. Nothing is as it seems. Yeah, the kangaroo makes a good point there. Travel TV says keep most of your money in your bank account. That's the best thing to do. Get Charles Schwab. That's another good idea. Steve the Butcher, my really, really good friend, says for any newbies to the DoMoreLife family, please keep it PC. That's true, because that's what we do on this channel. Ty Guy Bry says it's staying in someone else's house. It's their rules or leave simple. That's about as simple as it gets. And you're right. Anon says, yes, JC, that is something that everybody needs to remember when they are outside the U.S. Excellent point. Thank you. Robert says, I'm thinking of coming in April, but others are saying no. That's that'll be another topic for another day. Robert, I'm not trying to blow you off, buddy. Not at all, but I got too much to go through today. So, second Florida says, never keep all my money in one place on my prayer. Gotcha. All right, nothing is as it seems. What does that mean? It's very easy to get stressed out over in a Southeast Asian country, because just when you think everything's fine, and when you think, I've done nothing wrong, you're not familiar enough with that culture to realize that, oops, I just did something bad and didn't know it. Oops, I just said the wrong thing to the wrong people, and now I'm in a lot of trouble. And you don't even mean to do it. It's like a scene out of a movie. You say one thing and you're just laughing and kicking back, talking or whatever. You say the wrong thing. Now you got the 9 people around you that were your best buddy drinking with you and that kind of thing, now they're all mad at you. So these are things that you have to be very, very, very careful of. Yes, Tommy, do that, please, always. Appreciate that very much. Let's see. Jesse says, I'm a U.S. citizen. I have the right to do what I want. And trust me, you don't. I know you're just kidding, though. Sarcasm does not translate well. Please remember that. Sarcasm does not translate well in these Southeast Asian countries. It just doesn't. Your best bet for sarcasm to translate is going to be the Philippines, because they speak a lot of English in the Philippines. And if you can find another country that speaks a lot of English, then your sarcasm may translate well. I know when I was in the Philippines, for the most part, my sarcasm translated. I never had any real problems there. Unfortunately, I've had a few problems in other places, but it happens. I opened an account in Thai for unexpected circumstances. There's nothing wrong with that, Robert. That's a good move, man. Hey, John, good to see you. Okay, let me continue. Financial planning is essential. Essential. You have to have, and this is under nothing is as it seems. You may have to, I don't want to say pay somebody off, but you may have to donate a little to whatever cause somebody feels that you should donate to, in order to make sure that everything's fine, because you should donate. And I have to tell you, it's a weird feeling, but it happens. And those things they're like, right? Because it's like mind blown, because you're not used to doing that in the West, or I'm not anyway. You may be, but I'm not. Scott, good to see you, man. Very good to see you this morning. Or you're getting ready to head to work, so I assume you work. Well, I'm not sure where you're at. So, the kangaroo says sure does help with the missus estate and paperwork we have. Take care each time we go. Oh, he's talking to Steve. Stuck in Florida says I traveled to Mexico and South America in the 80s. I'm used to having to pay people to make things okay. Well, there you go. It's going to happen at some point. If you stay long enough, it's going to happen at some point. That's why financial planning is essential. That's why when people ask me how much money should I bring with me, I'm like, look, man, don't just be worried about how much money you should bring with you. Worry about how much money you should have in the bank at home, or how much money can you really get your hands on all at one time, because that's what's going to matter. That's definitely what's going to matter. No, these are not PayPals, in case you guys were wondering. Brett kicked off of PayPal. I appreciate it, Brett. Love you, man. Not coming out the closet. Let's see. Why can't FPV says, hey, love your channel. I will be heading out in 2 weeks. Hope to run into you. My name is Mark. Sounds good, Mark. Be safe to travel. I have no idea. I have no idea about any of that, and we don't talk about it on here, because the last time we did, we got by YouTube. Travel TV is insisting on the Charles Schwab account. Tiger Eyebrows telling a little story there. Yeah, very careful on that. You must have an exit strategy. That's what this is leading up to, and the nothing is as it seems. If an immigration officer from whatever country you may be staying in comes to you and says, for whatever reason, you got 24 hours to vacate the country, or you're coming with us right now and you're leaving the country. Now you can beg and plead to stay in longer. Roger, 11 days. I hear you, man. You can beg and plead to stay a little bit longer, long enough to come back, especially if you're living here, long enough to come back and get your affairs in order. But that may not be the case. You may just have lost everything that you have built in a country in Southeast Asia. You know, if you bought furniture or clothes or computers or whatever, if there's your home and for whatever reason they catch you out and want you to go, then you're going. And I mean, you just got to be ready for it. It sounds extreme, but it's true. I have never met Chuck, but I would love to. I would absolutely love to meet Chuck. For No Time to Be Sad, Mr. FPV, or Mark, excuse me. Yeah, I've never met him, but I'd love to. He's a good vlogger. Now, number 3, in most cases, you are as important as your tourist dollars until those tourist dollars run out. Anytime you're in a country and you're spending money, especially in the more third world of a country that you're in, and in some cases, countries that rely on tourist dollars, right, to make up a huge part of their GDP, everybody's going to love you while you spending that money, right? When the money runs out, you're going to find out that you're going to lose a lot of friends, a lot of contacts, and you may even make some enemies. And that is sad. But it's just it's sad. It really is. I don't know of a better way to describe that. So just remember, spend wisely. Hey, Dino, good to see you, brother. Sorry, let me get my email pulled back up here. No, that's not a PayPal. Okay. Number 4. This is probably one of the most important things I'm going to tell you that people just don't understand. In the West, most countries have some type of fallback system. In other words, they have like Social Security system or food stamps or WIC, or they have some kind of something so that if you lose everything, you'll be all right. They'll get you through until you can pick yourself back up. It ain't happening in this part of the world. Okay, they don't have that for foreigners over here. Some of the countries don't even have it for their own citizens, so they're definitely not going to give it to a foreigner. So you need to understand that if you come over here and you don't have the money to support yourself, or you run out of money, you are literally screwed. About the only chance you have is turning in your passport to the embassy of your home country and they will fly you. Most countries fly you back to your country, and they will hold your passport until you pay off whatever that flight costs. That's about your only hope in that thing. There is no safety net over here. You can use your Social Security if you're from America or whatever. You can, of course, you can have that assigned to be direct deposited into a Thai bank or another bank or something like that. But I'm just speaking from Thailand because I happen to be in Thailand. The other thing is, other countries you can have it direct deposited there. Some countries you can't, but you can keep it in America and you can have the money transferred in via a bank routing system, or you can just pull it out of the ATM, which is going to cost you a little bit more. Roger McGee in the house. Roger, thank you, brother. 25 on top of 50. We're at 75 already. I love you guys, man. I love it. Makes it so worth my while to do these things, and I absolutely love it. Yes, you can get it online. It's mostly an online bank. I'm not sure what you're talking about there, but you're talking about money. That's probably true. Did I miss anything else? No work. You guys. Okay, so remember that. All right. There's no safety net. There's no safety net. If you run out of money, you're not going to go to immigration or the Ministry of Labor or the Ministry of Public Health or whatever they call it in other countries. I'm just using the example here in Thailand of the names because that's their ministries here. But they may be the Department of Public Health or the Department of whatever in another country or whatever they want to call it. My point is, you're not going to go there and get financial assistance. It's not going to happen unless there's some kind of program for maybe a veteran or something like that. And you're in the right country, you may be able to get some kind of assistance there. I'm not aware of any, but it's just one of those things. Sam, what's up, man? So while you have the money, have some fun. Absolutely. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Number 5, if you don't plan, you will fail. There are very, 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 very few people who can just wing it in a country, all right? Who can just come over and wing it. Dino says, and don't call mommy. Make sure you have enough sufficient fund. That's true. Tazi, hello. Winging it in a Southeast Asian country is probably one of the worst ideas ever. I mean no disrespect to Travel TV because I know he kind of from time to time he's winged it before over here, and he does a good job at it. I myself have had to wing it before, but a person that can wing it, their mentality is a little bit different, and it's usually got something to do with the fact of their past life, like they learned how to hustle in their past life. So that's about the only kind of person you're going to find that can wing it, because if you just think about it, just logically, okay? If you come over here and you spend way too much money doing something that you shouldn't have done, or that's okay to do. Train hard, fight easy. That's right, Steve. If you dilute your funds, in other words, if you use, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That's true, Adam. Very good. If a man is 42, could he make it on 175,000 US? If I lived a normal life, just party on the weekends, make sure. That's a good question. One of my lovely moderators, find the video that Ross did on this channel. It's called The Exact Amount of Money You Need to Retire in Thailand, and throw that link up there for Mr. FPV. And if you'll watch that video, my friend Ross does a great job of breaking that down. And if you want to hear more from Ross, he has the channel as well. And so does Go More Hike. And I don't know, does anybody else have a channel in here? But Go More Hike's got a good one, for sure. Mark says, good morning, Mark and Wahin. Good morning, Mark. Tim says, well, I have winged it here in America in early years, but it was my country. True. I understood the talk and culture, but overseas, nope. I would have to have a game plan, which I do sort of. Yeah, you definitely got to have a game plan. Anon said, if you have no income coming in, the 175 will drain out eventually. Yep, I agree. Go More Hike has put the link up to that video for you. Mark, I think, was looking at that. Oh, Robert has a channel. That's right. Robert has a channel. Go check out Robert Mack and Asia's channel. I forgot about that. Gilmore High says the exact amount of money you need to retire in Thailand. Explain. Yeah. Here's the cost of living in Thailand or the Philippines or anywhere in Southeast Asia. The cost of living is whatever you want it to be. That's it. It depends on what you're willing to give up and what you're willing to sacrifice. And for me personally, if I have to sacrifice something or I have to give something up to come to another country, I'm not really coming to another country because that just doesn't, that for me, that doesn't make any sense. There's no benefit there. Yeah, one night of drink could wipe that out. Go More Hype, post JC merch page. Yes, you could throw up the Teespring stuff. That'd be fine. That'd be great too. I'd love to see some people with DoMoreLife attire going on. So don't try to wing it, guys. Please don't try to wing it. Do not try to wing it because winging it is just a bad idea. Especially, you got to think about health insurance. You got to think about dental insurance. You got to think about, if anything bad happens to you, do you have enough money? Like, thankfully, I bought a very nice insurance policy, which covers me over here very well. But are you going to have enough money to do that year after year after year? Are you going to have enough money to take care of the little things? Like, do you think about the little things like groceries? Are you going to shop at markets? Do you want to shop at real grocery stores? I mean, these are things that you have to ask yourself because if you don't, you'll run out of money is what I'm trying to say. Fisker7 says there's no set amount. It's different depending on the person, what type of life they want to live, period. 100% correct. And the reason that I titled that video the way I did that Ross made was not because he's actually telling you the exact amount of money you need to retire. Even though he is, if you follow his, I think it's a 20-year plan for him. But he's giving you a formula that you can plug in to your number, right? Your number. So whatever your number is, you can take that, plug it into however long you want to stay over here in Southeast Asia or whatever, and you'll get the answer. You'll know how much money you can spend each month, and that's what gives it such a good thing. Now, number 6, these are the last of the uh-ohs. If you work in these countries, you will be under extreme scrutiny. What do I mean by extreme scrutiny? You literally cannot do anything wrong at all other than maybe get a traffic ticket or something like that. But you cannot cause an uproar that's going to go public or that anybody's going to see working at a reputable institution anywhere in Southeast Asia, because everything over here is about saving face. It's all about making sure that nobody loses their making sure that you don't ever make anybody look stupid or feel less than, that kind of thing. That's what it's all about all over Southeast Asia. That's been my experience, my personal experience, and the scrutiny that you come under when you work in these countries doubles, because typically you just have to look out to make sure you don't cause a public scene anywhere. You don't get on it, you don't get on anybody's police watch and that kind of thing. But when you work over here, like I do, you have to be you have to prepare yourself for the fact that you may get questioned about a YouTube video. It's happened to me before. So you have to be ready for an answer and that kind of thing. And these are scrutinies that normal people probably wouldn't have to worry about if they were in a Western society. However, it's my understanding now the West is going to, look at your YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff before they hire you. So that's another thing. I don't know that over here you get looked at before you get hired, but you are certainly under more scrutiny for sure. And I want to talk about the positives too. Okay, I got you, bro. Let's see. Tazi says understanding rule of 72 will help you. We can do that. Understanding the rule of 72 will help you better understand how long your money will last for larger retirement. I mean that's fair. That's fair point. Fair point. Yeah, good. We're getting some subs on some other channels here. That's good. So I want to talk about a few of the positives. A few of the positives of this. If you maintain your integrity and you have your you understand how to be a humble person, you understand how to bite your tongue, you understand how to not you just can't get angry in some of these countries, right? You just can't. Some countries will allow a little bit more than others. Luckily, you will find that some of these countries over in Southeast Asia, when you're abroad, they have a little bit more leniency on a foreigner. In other words, like you can make a mistake and you're not getting serious trouble for it. But for the most part, you really have to be on your best behavior at all times. And what hurts when you come to Southeast Asia is most people from the West come to Southeast Asia to get away from the West, right? They want to get away, but they bring their Western mentality with them. They bring it with them. If there's any entitlement in their head or victimhood, I'm a victim because my boss is a weirdo or whatever. If you bring that with you, you're probably going to have problems in Southeast Asia. And that's just the way I've always seen it. Some more positives. You're probably living somewhere in what we would call paradise. You're probably near beach access somewhere, unless you live like in land on a landlocked country. You can definitely get to the beach. Vacations are cheap. Cost of living is much cheaper over here. There are many benefits to living and working in Southeast Asia. Don't get me wrong. That's why I said this is not a Debbie Downer video, and it's not directed at one particular country. This is just my experience and the experience of others as I have been informed by as it relates to these topics. And now we're going to go to kind of an open chat because I officially did that in 48 minutes. Not bad. So that's what I really wanted to tell you. Now I'll read some comments. I've heard better and worse. Go more hike. I don't know where it would be better. I really don't. Robert says, Tommy J, thank you. I appreciate it. Also, thanks, Jeremy. No problem. Tim says, so basically what you are saying is don't be American. I'm not saying don't be American. I'm saying don't have the Western attitude. Don't have the attitude of the entitlement, privilege, victimhood don't bring that stuff if you have it. Some people don't even have any of that stuff. If your mind frame is set up for that, don't bring that with you, because if you do, it's going to lead to something that it just doesn't need to lead to. That's been my experience. Expat lawyers say, like they say, you can take yourself out of the hood, but you can't take the hood out of the person. Very true, but over time you can learn. You can definitely learn. Definitely learn. I've been in Southeast Asia. I guess it'll be 3 years in July. So I've learned quite a lot about that. Robert says, I've learned you give respect, you get respect. That's so true. Travis TV says, I come to Asia to get away from the entitlement privilege stuff that you're talking about. That's usually what most of us do. Steve says, only ever seen you speak positive stuff about the land of smiles, so would stand up to any scrutiny from anyone. Yeah, I don't. This is not like when it comes to Thailand specifically. I love Thailand. There's a lot of paperwork to do for visas, and there's a lot of little things that you have to be aware of. But I mean, if I was an immigrant going to America, right, I would have to be aware of the same thing. So it's not a big deal. But what makes it a big deal is that people want to travel over here and not know these things. They want to travel blind. They want to wing it, right? If you can say you've done your research on countries and your research consists of I've got a place to stay. I know what beach I want to visit the most. All that stuff, right? That's not researching your country. That's researching your vacation. Researching the country you want to go to means you need to know the basics of the laws. Probably get in contact with somebody that's been on the ground there before and speak to them, talk to them about it, and get several opinions, and then form your own and be prepared for whatever. Tommy, hang on, wait a minute. Adam says, I'm flabbergasted they canceled Songkran. Yeah, we don't know why, but we're not going to talk about it. But, you know, hey, I was what's the word I'm looking for? Flabbergasted is one, but I was, for lack of a better word, we'll just say shocked. Tommy says, adapt to your environment. That's the best thing. That statement in and of itself pretty much covers everything. Adapt your environment and overcome your DoMoreLife says, yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say. Stuck in Florida says, I told one of my friends that was a bit arrogant to act like he was in the worst hood in the States and he was the minority. That's a good way to look at it. Stuck in Florida, very good way to look at it. Anon says, key tip on a successful, happy life in Thailand: avoid the ThaiVisa.com forums. Yes, definitely. They're massive, irrational negativity. There's only one visa group for Thailand that I even remotely entertain. But for the most part, avoid them because it's just spewing negativity everywhere, all over the place, and it's crazy. And I would venture to say 99.9% of what they say is simply not true, or is over exaggerated at the least. Robert says, treat today better than yesterday, and tomorrow even better than every day, and life will always be great and happy. I agree, Robert. Sometimes it's not possible to do that, but if you can do that, you're going to win. Adam says Thailand is worth doing a little work for. Yes, it is. I agree, Adam, 100%. I wouldn't be here if I didn't. Next month, I'll be here 2 years, and I love it. Tim says, what a Songkran. That's a big holiday over here. Big holiday. Mark J says that 175 for 20 years may not account for inflation locally. I'd say 200. Yeah. Definitely not going to account for inflation. Yeah, don't say that word, Adam. Tim, it Thailand New Year. Damn it. What are you talking about, Travel TV? And it's killing me in the airline industry for sure. I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. Tim says they canceled New Year. Oh. I think I know what you're talking about, and I believe the answer is yes. Travel TV says the festivities. So if you're talking specifically about Thailand, they canceled Songkran, but only the, like you said, the festivities. They didn't cancel any of the religious stuff. So, or not yet anyway. It hasn't been canceled as of the making of this video. That's straight. Roger says we can talk about that on here. We can't talk about it on here. Pin, yeah, good catch. Anon says at Pin, I have a lot of doctors who are friends. The answer is yes. And just to be on the safe side, I'm going to remove your comment. It's been up there long enough for him to read it. And the only reason I'm doing that is because the title of this video, I don't want YouTube to be able to link it to anything that has to do with anything that would remotely consist of. So no offense, brother. I just want to make sure that, you know, the channel stays safe and stays intact, and we keep growing and doing a better job. So now it's apology time. I want to apologize for not getting any content out this week. I think I put out a video on Sunday, and then I got to Saturday. Tim, that's a question I can't answer on here, but use your imagination. I don't know. Stuck in Florida. I don't know. I don't know if it will be or not. I don't know. That's a good. It very well could be, but I don't know. I didn't say that, Tim. Remember, I live here. There are certain things you can and can't say. Sorry, brother. But where was I at? I was talking about somebody's comment that they had. What was I going to say about living? I was going to say something about living over here, and I forgot. Oh, Steve says not surprised canceling Songkran. To be honest, because roll back up here. Not surprised canceling Songkran. To be honest, water shortage and other issues make it a sensible decision. That's true. There's a drought going on in Thailand, by the way. You guys don't get joking down there. Where did Cody go? Is he still in here? Or Brett? Where's Brett? I hadn't heard Brett comment on anything. I was apologizing for not putting out any content. So some of the things that I had written down in here are some of the experiences that kept me from putting out content this week. And I want to apologize to all you guys for sure. Hello, runs with Bigfoot. Never seen you before, but hello. So that's one reason that there was no content this week. Got plenty of content coming. It's lined up. I do have to do a little bit of editing. I may be meeting with a subscriber tonight. I'm not sure. I haven't heard back from him, so maybe he's traveling. Not 100% sure. Tim says, "Oh, is that where everybody shoots water at each other?" Yes, it is. Good morning, hi, hey Jeremy. Did I hear you say something about crap hitting the fan? Yeah. Crap hitting the fan. Crap hitting the fan was in today's talk. And some things happened over here. Everything's solved. It's all good. It's one of those things. One good positive thing I will tell you if you are a impatient person, if you are a arrogant person, if you are a what am I trying to say? Studious person. Um, Come to Southeast Asia and try to live and work, because you will be brought down to a level of humility that you didn't know that you were capable of. It's a um, pride swallowing task that even if you're right doesn't matter. So whatever matters is whatever uh, the people of the country think. That's what matters. But in my case, all good, no worries, everything's cool. Um, Tim said, let's see. Gomer Hike said, I just got that. Visca says, Tim, use your common sense. JC has to abide by rules, policies. Absolutely, I have to. Tim, I don't think Tim really meant anything bad by that, but I see your point, Visca. Gomer Hike says, hello, Rums and Bigfoot. I am dancing with wolves. I love it. No, I did not get stuck in the gangster massage. I did not. In fact, I'm thinking about going back there today, to be totally honest with you, because it would be nice to just go there and relax. It's very hot in Bangkok right now, and it's starting to rain a little bit during the day. So I think I might go get some mango and sticky rice and ride around and find something to do. I'm not sure. But I do have some vacation time coming up. And during that time, I will for sure, absolutely without question, be making some new content. Uh, and hopefully it will be outside of Bangkok. Or not outside of Bangkok. It'll be outside of just. I have plans to go to Pattaya because I do. I enjoy going to Pattaya. Then I have plans to go. I might even like to see my friend Steve. Um, I hadn't talked to him in a while, but would like to see him. Would also like to make a meet up with Richard at some point. Some of you guys that want to meet up with me or whatever, that would be a good time sometime this month. Would be great. Stuck in Florida says go more hikes, so you call it dancing. Gangster. Go more hikes says I got some advice. Anybody want to hear it? Oh. Alpha, what's up, Alpha? He says, hey, Jeremy, just finished nightclub security, missing Thailand every day. I know you are, but you'll be back. That's for sure. Come down to Cham, dude. Cham is actually a place that I would like to go to. Because it's my understanding it's between, like, if I take off and head west from Bangkok, then I'll go through Cham on my way to Hua Hin. I believe Cham comes up first, so I would love to go there and check that out. Anon says, laid back beach town. That sounds good. That sounds really good. The weather's crap in Ireland. Alpha says, I bet it is. I've heard that a lot. Travel TV says, I love Cheyenne. Well, then I may have to check it out. Anon says, just north of Hua Hin on Highway 4. Well, that's good. Carl says he's a good talker. That's for sure. I'm not 100% sure what you're talking about, Carl, but I'm sure whoever you're talking about would say thank you. And in the middle of all this, if you haven't hit the like button, please do so. I would greatly appreciate it. And it says, I'm going to drive down there on 319 if you want to hitch a ride. If I am off work, if I'm on vacation the 19th, then I might just do that. And I might just do a live stream from my cell phone, which is something that has been requested that I do. So there you go. I mean, you got a good video presence, Carl says. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. I don't think I have a great video presence. I just think I try to stick to the facts and stick to the things that people know. are the things that people want to hear. So this is one of those things. Yeah, attracting a lot of interest is a good thing. And unfortunately, last week I just blew the lid off of it because I couldn't put out any content. So, you know, it happens. Steve says thumbs up, warm and fuzzy. Definitely thumbs up, guys. Will make me stay the one. Warm and fuzzy. Carl says be checking me out. That's for sure. By all means, check me out. Check out the videos. Check out the channel. There's about 600 videos on here total. So there's plenty for you to look at. Plenty of videos to watch. Plenty of things to talk about. You can watch me mature a little bit because I'm not saying I've matured a lot, but you can watch me mature from stage one, brand new vlogger when I was in the Philippines to where I am now. And you know, I think I've come a pretty long way. The channel's certainly grown. It's not grown as much as I would like for it to, but we have some great people on here, and we consider ourselves a family. So the main premise of this conversation is, let me just run back over everything before I end the live stream, because it looks like we're kind of running out of wind here. Number one, forget Western freedoms. That means forget your freedom of speech. Forget carrying any kind of attitude or chip on your shoulder. Your freedom of movement. Just understand that could change at any time in any Southeast Asian country. This is not specific to Thailand. This is anywhere. As I said in the beginning, Runs with Bigfoot says going to make it Thailand someday. Well, I hope you do make it. Absolutely. Sorry, guys. 1 second. Okay. So, nothing is as it seems. Well, wait, I wasn't done. Paperwork for everything. Get used to school kids. That's what kind of kids I teach. Mark. Tim says Jeremy has the best Thailand channel. I don't know about that. I definitely appreciate the compliment, but I don't know about that. It depends on what you're into. Paperwork for everything. No, as a foreigner, whether you're coming in as a tourist or if you're going to be in a non-immigrant status like here in Thailand, or if you're going to be in the same thing, a non-immigrant status or a tourist status in other countries, and you, at the very least, you're going to have to renew that every so often. Like even at being on a 1-year visa here with a work permit, the whole 9 yards are covered with me, but I still have to check in every 90 days. So, you know, it is what it is. You are a true guest with few privileges. Please keep that in mind, because few privileges means that I'm not talking about. Let me say this and make this also clear. I am not talking bad or negative about the people in the countries that live in these countries, because the vast majority of the people that live in Southeast Asia, the vast majority that I have met, have been amazing, wonderful people. There have been a few that, you know, weren't so great, but it's nothing like what an aggravated American would do. I mean, you know, it's I haven't had any problems with, you know, these so-called mafia people, or you know, I'm sure that they exist. They probably exist in every country, but I haven't had a problem in any country with any kind of organized crime or anything like that. So, except for the incident in Patia, which I still don't, I know what happened and I know where it came from, but I don't know, like who they were or why it happened. Nothing is as it seems. Always remember that. It's very easy to get stressed out very quickly, especially when you're being questioned, because you have to mind your tone and you have to mind your mannerism. Don't get mad. Be humble as you possibly can be, because if you're not, you're going to get yourself in trouble. Financial planning is essential. There are no safety nets here I'm in Thailand, but there are no safety nets for foreigners anywhere in Southeast Asia that I'm aware of, unless, like I said, maybe a VA program somewhere or something like that. But you can't go as a foreigner here. You can't go get public assistance. It's not like America where you can just walk across the border, go in and get food and health care and everything else. That's not going to happen over here in Southeast Asia. You must have an exit strategy. So you better make sure you got money in the bank, enough to get out, at least to get back home with, to get around family and that kind of thing. In most cases, you are as important or valuable as your tourist dollars until they run out. In most cases, in Southeast Asian countries, that's not always true. I'm just saying. In most cases, that's what I've seen happen. Number 4 that I was talking about, there is no safety net. Number 5, if you don't plan, you will fail. Very few people can just wing it. Do not try to wing it. Please don't try to wing it. It's very, very difficult because I'm one of those people that has had to wing it from time to time. Just please don't. Just don't. It's a bad idea. And it causes a lot of unnecessary stress. Number 6, if you work in these countries, you will be under extreme scrutiny. And basically, that just means you have to protect the reputation of the company that you're employed by. And that is a huge, huge deal. Huge deal. Huge deal. And I think that that pretty much sums up the chat in and of itself. So let me hit some comments real quick, see what we got. Good morning. Says, I got no kin in Thailand. Yeah, I know, right? My dad told me one time, when the crap hits the fan, you better be upwind. I love that. I love that comment. Travel TV. Yeah, you're right. I still get along with everybody I've used to date in Thailand, except that girl. She just disappeared on me. I know how that feels. Gomorrah says you are their cash cow, not their friend. That's true in most cases. Again, depending on the country and everything else, because this is more of a broad speech or whatever live stream than it is. This is not just about Thailand. This is just about Southeast Asia in general. Travel TV says, I don't send them money, but we still talk. That's the key. For some of you guys, that please don't get lured into the trap of sending money to, your new girlfriend in whatever country you go to. They do it all over Southeast Asia. You send them money. There's a sick buffalo somewhere in their family, and they need your money for the help and all that stuff. All that scamming. Just don't be involved. Please don't be that naive. Carl says, very interesting, pal. Thank you, man. And says, I go more hike. That's not necessarily true. I have a lot of friends who have never asked me for a dime, and some who are much, much richer than I am. Not that I'm rich, but yeah, I agree. I understand what you're saying. And people on this channel, let me give some thank yous out. First of all, thank you to all my moderators. Thank you to Brett. Thank you to Roger, who managed to contribute in total $75 to the channel today. Much needed, because AdSense is going in YouTube right now. I feel like because I had the one chat about it live stream that it's gone. I may be in a little bit of a shadow ban because my numbers are just so low. But it's also the fact that I haven't been putting out a lot of content either, and I apologize to you guys for that. I thought the week before last I had it rolling. I had about 3 videos out. We were doing good. Everything looked good, sounded good, felt good. But unfortunately, didn't work out. So that's how it happens sometimes. Travel TV says, "Oh, and they ask for money." Yeah, yes, they do. Steve says, "Got Thai friends from 2005. Don't send money, but talk regularly." And that's the whole point. It's different when they don't ask for money, and you still talk to them. Very, 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 very different. I have friends in Thailand that work in the nightlife industry, and they are just friends. And we talk from time to time. They don't ask me for money. They make plenty of money. So I don't feel bad. Excuse me, guys. My lips are very dry. Go more hike. My dad also said a couple of times when the bull crap gets too deep, roll your pants legs up. That's for sure. Carl says, with Asian money is part of the deal. They may not ask, but they cigarette. I'm not sure what that meant. Yeah, you met a few. Yeah, I met a few. Carlos, I don't think this. Let's see. They may not ask, but they suggest. Yeah. I can honestly sit here with a straight face and tell you that that's not 100% true all the time. I would say the vast majority of the time for men that don't frequent here or anywhere else in Southeast Asia, for that matter, that don't frequent these places, usually if the person on the other end finds out that you're going home, they're going to want to keep in touch to make sure that you send the sick buffalo money. Yeah, and that's not been my experience either, Steve. So, not beating up on you, Carl. Just saying, man. Everybody has different experiences. Everybody. They could be. I mean, everybody has different experiences. So, that's what. And on this channel, we don't judge and all that stuff. You're gone forever, right here. Not even no worry. We just don't talk like that on this channel. Sorry. Oh, you already got him going right. Okay. Yeah, I hate him. Anon says, got to run JC and all. Great stream tonight. Thank you, sir. And yeah, we'll get to the got to run thing too. First, I want to thank, let's see, Carl says, with me, history of scammers. I can make a whole video about that. I have to do that at some point in time. This stuff is so old hat about Thailand. See, yeah. Oh my God, this stuff's so old. Okay. If you don't want to be here, you know how to go. Greenhorns everywhere, Carl. That's funny. So anyway, thank you guys so very much for dropping by this morning and tuning in with me. Really want to start with Brett. Thank you so much for your contribution, and Roger, thank you so much for your contribution. Very, very much appreciative. Very much appreciative. And I have 2 or 3 hats. I like that. I really appreciate the monetary contributions that come through PayPal, because you guys have no idea how close we are to getting something we can actually use that I feel like will benefit the channel tremendously, because I'll be able to do more walk and talk videos and all the things that you guys really liked. Runs with Bigfoot says, great info. Thanks. You're welcome, Tommy. I was getting to that. I want to say what I wanted to say is all my moderators, you do a fantastic job. I could not make these live streams as successful as they are without you guys, and I really genuinely appreciate it. Like, genuinely appreciate it. Cross says it may be old hat, but it's got to be said. That's true, Carl. That's true. Good to see you looking well, brother. Yes, Steve. I'm ready for you to make your next venture back over here, man. I like my old hats. I hear you, bro. Travel TV says I got to go take care. Good day, you too. Travel TV. Good luck to you, bro. Hope everything works out well. I thought that was an ending. It's not. That's just an email. So anyway, that's it. All the links for the channel are in the description down below in case you want merchandise or want to contribute or just want to check out the Facebook fan page or my Instagram. All those links are below. Thank you guys so very much for being a part of what I feel like is an extraordinarily important live stream. I hope you found value in the message that was sent out. And even more than that, I hope you find, I hope you can take this information and use it for yourself to make you a better traveler. That's really what I'm looking for. You have a great day, Robert. Stuck in Florida says you guys are on the ball. I don't think I've been fast enough to delete one comment. That's great, Robert. Brett, you're still here. Good, man. Good night to you, sir. I appreciate you very much. Mr. PayPal link. PBJ time. Have a good morning, Jeremy. I will do my best. You do the same. Stuck in Florida says thanks everyone for joining the family. I definitely appreciate it. We got last minute PayPal's coming in here. Let me bring these in. Mr. James, thank you, sir. I appreciate you very much. 1122 from my friend James, who I met over here in Thailand. I actually met in Bangkok for a burger, and we had a good time. So really appreciate people like James and all you guys. Really, all you guys contribute to my life in some way, and I hope that I contribute to yours, and that's really what it's all about. So, Stuck in Florida, you're welcome, of course, and thank you for always being there as a moderator. And again, anybody who donated, or not donated, I hate that word, anybody who contributed to the channel today, my heart goes out to you. I appreciate it very much. Everybody take care. Have a great weekend. And whatever you do, be sure you do more life. See ya.